Right, welcome, guys. I didn't think I would do more Snow White videos, but I know, just bear with me. Variety are reporting effectively what we all thought, that Disney really went mental behind the scenes, and also that Rachel Zegler's own behaviour, her posts, basically, her behaviour, her interviews, these kind of things, allegedly actually put her co-star, Gal Gadot, and her kids at risk. They had to hire extra security and things. So I just thought this was interesting because we've spoken about this and we've speculated about it, but this is confirmation. Well, from sources, it's confirmation. So it's quite mental, to be honest, just to hear it, see it laid out by mainstream media and just there in black and white. So I thought it was worth covering just simply because of that. Hopefully you find this interesting, like I do. But yes, hit subscribe if you're a returning viewer and you're not yet subscribed. It'd be good to have you here more often. Also, side note, I actually have a car channel, which you'll find linked down below in the description box. Don't really plug it that much. But if you like cars, classic cars, and just tinkering and stuff, you might like it. So check it out, by all means. Don't have to, but check it out. Anyway, yeah, this article. Wow. What pile of detritus this is. So, inside Disney's Snow White fiasco, death threats, beefed up security, and a social media guru for Rachel Zegler. Oh dear. You know what? You know what, Disney? You wouldn't have had these problems if you didn't hire Rachel Zegler. You wouldn't have had these problems if you didn't want to race swap Snow White. Fascinating. Amazing. I do think Rachel Zegler's career is done now. She's got one more role coming up where she's going to be, I think it's a musical, like a Broadway type thing. Evita, something like that. I can't remember the bloody name. But she's got one more role, and it's not a movie role. I don't think she's going to get movie roles now. And to that I say good riddance. She's not a very good actor. It's not exactly something that we're losing here. It's not a great talent anyway. But Disney, you did this to yourself. So on August 12th, 2024, 3 days after Rachel Zegler hit the stage at Disney's D23 fan event to introduce the first official trailer of Snow White, she thanked supporters effusively in an X post for driving the teaser to 120 million views in 24 hours. 1 minute later, she added, "Always remember, free Palestine." So the addendum, which amassed 8.8 million views, nearly 4 times the number of the initial post, quickly made the rounds, with many inside the studio expressing shock that the Snow White star would commingle the promotion of its $270 million tentpole with any kind of political statement. Why are you shocked when you hired what is effectively a child, that they do childish things, immature things? Why are you shocked? So a Disney executive raised the studio's concerns with Zegler's team, while the film's producer, Mark Platt, flew to New York to speak directly with her. You literally had to fly across the country to speak to her in person. You should have just hired a white girl. Mental. So the actress, whose relationship with the studio began to unravel in 2022 during a contentious West Side Story award season campaign, and continued as she trashed the beloved original Snow White, stood her ground. And the post remained. You know what's funny though? Movie studios do have it in their contracts where if you harm a film, things can be done against you. They do have powers to enact those, they just don't want to. So her standing her ground's irrelevant. It's that the studio didn't have a spine, actually. So behind the scenes, death threats towards Zegler's co-star Gal Gadot, who is Israeli, spiked, and Disney had to pay for additional security for the mother of 4. Should have hired a white girl that wasn't a libtard. This is an insider. She didn't understand the repercussions of her actions as far as what that meant for the film, for Gal, for anyone. Do you know why? because she's a child and she doesn't have prudency. It's like her prefrontal cortex is not developed in any way, shape or form. She has no rational thinking skills. She's an insufferable douche. You shouldn't have hired her. So 3 months later, following the presidential election, Zegler posted, "F Donald Trump and may Trump supporters never know peace." On Instagram, Disney had had enough, given that the star was signalling to half the potential audience of an already troubled film, plagued by costly reshoots, to stay home. Platt made the case again to Zegler. After a back and forth, she began working with a social media guru, paid for by Disney, to vet any posts before the film's March 21st bow. Disney declined to comment, and Zegler did not respond to a request for comment. Fucking hell. So bad. We said this when it happened, that she's been told to write all of this stuff. And she was definitely told. So now that the film's dismal opening weekend, $87 million worldwide, is in the rearview mirror, Burbank brass are evaluating what went wrong. To put Snow White's global box office haul into perspective, it's about $34 million less than Joker Folie à Deux. Wow. Also had a bigger budget by $70 million. You can't say that a live-action remake of the most iconic film in the vault that cost $270 million and has been reshot multiple times opening to $50 million is okay. The math does not work. That movie should be $1 billion movie. But you know why, don't you? And hopefully the rival executive understands this. It wasn't a remake. It wasn't fundamentally a remake. You butchered it, and people are sick of it. The Disney-Zegler standoffs underscore the challenge Hollywood studios face as they attempt to rein in stars who caught controversy on social media. For her part, Gadot kept her comments on geopolitics limited to offering support for the civilian hostages taken during the October 7th Hamas attack and did not mix that message with the promotion of the film. Zegler had already strained nerves at both the studio and Steven Spielberg's Amblin partners when she complained on social media that she wasn't invited to the Oscars in 2022 because she was the star of the Best Picture nominee West Side Story, a film which was distributed by Disney. Well, they continued to hire her. Sources say she had just begun production on Snow White in London, and Sean Bailey, then president of Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures Production, declined to cut her loose for the telecast. After Zegler aired her grievances publicly, the Academy provided her with a ticket even though she wasn't nominated. She gave in to a petulant child. Stamping her feet, amazing. So months later at D23, she criticised the original 1937 Snow White, saying that the prince literally stalks the heroine. One top agent says that was the moment that Disney allowed Zegler to control the narrative. The first time she shoots her mouth off, you nip it in the bud. Instead, the studio said nothing, and purists began to revolt. And as time went on, Disney became increasingly loath to weigh in on anyone's speech, considering that the studio was sued in 2024 by actress Gina Carano, who claimed she was fired from The Mandalorian for voicing her opinions on hot-button issues. They say all press is good press, but in Snow White's case, they were unabashedly wrong. Too much negative controversy surrounding this film for years, and it didn't help that the reviews were subpar, likely rendering this latest live-action adventure to Disney Plus for many potential ticket buyers a possible saving grace, a feeble marketplace where Snow White could stay a while, as many family films have, despite the lackluster debut. I mean, this is mental. So apparently there's no bad blood between the two leads. I doubt that. But okay. I really, really do doubt that. This is pretty mental. Some observers say Disney fueled the perception of a feud by scheduling the actresses for separate events. Yeah, that is true. That's why, I mean, it does look that way, doesn't it? So Disney had given up hope that the film could overcome the backlash that had been brewing like a fairy tale cauldron for years. You should have just hired a white girl that wasn't a libtard. I know they're hard to find, but my God, what an absolute shit show. So we were right all along, and Rachel Zegler's career is over. It's done. I doubt she's going to get hired after this. The biggest studio in the world had issues with her. She's not going to get hired. Leave your thoughts down below. I thought you'd enjoy this one. Take care. Bye-bye now.